Can Viking archaeology reveal what Vikings really looked like? Have you ever wondered what Vikings truly looked like? Many of us picture them as tall, muscular figures with long blonde hair and fierce expressions. But Viking archaeology tells a different story. By studying skeletal remains and conducting DNA analysis, researchers are uncovering a more accurate image of these fascinating people. First, let's talk about physical traits. Viking skeletons reveal that they were generally muscular and robust. This reflects their lifestyles as farmers, sailors, and warriors. Interestingly, men and women from that time had more similar facial features than modern Scandinavians do today. Viking women often had stronger jawlines, while men had slimmer faces compared to what we see now. When it comes to height, Viking men were on average shorter than modern Scandinavians by about 8 to 10 centimeters. However, some skeletons have been found that measure between 180 and 190 centimeters tall. This shows that while many Vikings were shorter, there were still some who were quite tall. Now, let's discuss the genetic diversity among Vikings. DNA studies have shown that they were not a homogeneous group. They had influences from outside Scandinavia, including regions in Asia and southern Europe. This challenges the common stereotype of Vikings as uniformly blonde and blue-eyed. In fact, many Vikings had brown hair and other traits that reflected this genetic mixture. Additionally, research indicates that Viking groups within Scandinavia were more genetically isolated from each other than previously thought. This suggests that there were distinct regional populations. For example, Viking men buried with weapons in places like Orkney, Scotland, were sometimes not genetically Scandinavian. This points to a cultural adoption that went beyond genetic origins. Iconographic sources, such as Viking Age picture stones from Gotland, provide more clues about their appearance. These stones depict hairstyles that were common during that time. Women often wore long ponytails coiled into knots or topknots, which were associated with high status. These artistic representations help us understand how Vikings presented themselves in daily life and during ceremonies. In summary, archaeological and genetic research confirms that Vikings were a physically strong and diverse population. Their facial features and appearances, while sharing some similarities with modern Scandinavians, were distinct in important ways. These findings help correct simplified images of Vikings and ground our understanding in scientific evidence from the region's own heritage. This research not only enriches our cultural knowledge but also helps create more accurate facial reconstructions for museums and educational materials.